all of your time, taking all of your time, yeah. I've been taking my time, I've been taking my time, yeah. Taking all of your time, taking all of your time, yeah. Can we talk about it for a while? Before we take a chance and do it, before we looking back as foolish. Can we talk about it for a while? Before we take a chance and do it, before we looking back as foolish. You got me floating, and I can take it. You got me floating, and I can't take it. You got me floating, and I can take it. You got me floating, and I can't take it. I've been taking my time, I've been taking my time. Taking all of your time, taking all of your time. I've been taking my time, I've been taking my time. Taking all of your time, taking all of your time. You got me floating, and I can take it. You got me floating, and I can't take it. You got me floating, and I can take it. You got me floating, and I can't take it. I've been taking my time, I've been taking my time. Taking all of your time, taking all of your time. I've been taking my time, I've been taking my time. Taking all of your time, taking all of your time.
Hey, my trendies, trendsetters, and my trendy tribe. How are y'all? I was trying to type as many names as I could before the song ended. I see y'all. I see y'all. Veronica, since I didn't get to type your name. Hey, Veronica. Oh, Sheila, definitely. I said, hey, LaDawn. Hey, Phyllis. Hi, Miss Linda. I won't be able to go all the way back up to the top. I have so many notes for y'all. So I'm going to try to say, hey, Miss Betty. I'm going to try to say hi as much as I can in the beginning as I see some comments. I'm going to give y'all my notes. And then when I kind of pause, I will try my best to come to, say hi to who I'm seeing at the chat in the chat at the time. Cause y'all know I like to say hi. So okay. Oh my goodness. It is good to see y'all. And let's get these. Oh, I'm sorry, let me get the queen off of here. Hold on. Sorry, y'all. I'll be forgetting. Okay. So first of all, thank you to my Trendy Tribe members. Because of them, I have a new gadget with a lot of sound buttons at demand. So I'm not gonna use them that much, I don't think, for this live, but you never know. But I have a little mini stream deck. Thank you to the Trendy Tribe members. Because of y'all, I have that little toy now. Also, I'm able to get some of these documents and know I can cover the cost because of y'all. And thank you for the supers and the Cash App donations as well. Y'all are much, much appreciated. So, okay, y'all. So if you are in the Trendy Tribe, and that means you're either a part of Patreon, Kim, it is the artist, his YouTube channel is South Street 24 Media. The name of the song is Emotional Love Song, but he done named about 50 songs the same name. So I apologize. That's all I have, but that's who I got it from. South Street 24 Media. Okay. If you are in the Trendy Tribe, either a patron or a YouTube membership, you do get my Sketchy Saturday art. I draw live, color live, and all that stuff. And this Saturday, y'all, the theme is the lemon drop. So if you are not a member, you want to get the image I'm going to create for Sketchy Saturday. It's a digital download. I make the link available to my members. Yeah, so if you remember, you will be able to get that once it's done. So I'll be drawing that live tomorrow, because tomorrow is Sketchy Saturday. So I can't wait. I've already showed the concept, like my vision board, to the members, and then I showed a couple people what I've sketched in my sketch pad, and I'm gonna transfer it to Photoshop so we can play around with it, color, all that stuff. So it's gonna be fun. I really am happy with where it's going. I got the hardest part done because I didn't want to lose my art energy before Saturday got here, so I had to sketch it out, but it's in my sketch pad. Okay, these are some of the art from Sketchy Saturday in the past. So the highlights is the Alabama Sweet Tea folding chair that now composes our timeout. It's the shady timeout, not the real mod timeout. If you start attacking people in the chat, you go to the real timeout. But this one's just the fun timeout with the folding chair. We've also, did our Virgo lips. Happy birthday, belated birthday, all that to the Virgos. I know it's not even Virgo season anymore, I don't think, but I don't care, y'all. I had to draw it because they were getting tired of us Leos. Okay, and then some other things. I did one for Melody's strawberry drop, like product drop that she did, her lip scrub. I did one for that. Yeah, so we have a lot of cool things. Nubian TV, I made one for that. So that's what we do on Sketchy Saturdays, and Lauren Hill is up here as well. Oh yeah, can't forget Steve Harvey. We had to do him because I was like, well, I am a blaque blogger, so let me go ahead and knock one out for Steve as well. Okay, so this is the shady timeout. It's a cute one. It's nothing. This is for, as you can see, one of my mods is in here, or two of my mods, and then we got Sheila Massey with permanent chairs because they just be cutting up. That's just how they are. Okay. Let me see. Okay, I'm looking at my notes now because I know I'll get myself off track. For the replay game, I will timestamp for you. I'll pin it in the comments so you'll skip straight to when I start talking about the topic. Don't worry, okay? You don't have to hear all this if you don't want to. And hi, everybody that's making their way in. I appreciate y'all. I will be looking at the comments once I get to a good point to stop and pause, just to acknowledge a couple comments. Then I got to go back to the topic to make good on time. Okay. Let's see. I told y'all about the Patreon and the Sketchy Saturday. Oh, the link is ready for part 4. It's going to be next Thursday. We're going to review the witness list next Thursday. So yes, who did they name as their witnesses? So part 4, the link is ready to go. So you can set your notifications if you so choose. Okay. Let's see. Oh, and my attorney friend, I told her what I was doing. She said she was not surprised. She knew if I created this channel, it was going to be something substantial. And I really appreciate her for saying that. And she told me if I did ever want to go to law school, I would be just fine in there. And I told her I was going to tell my YouTube people that because that made me feel really happy. Okay. Next, I have to say, thank you to Black Titanic for putting this topic on the map for all of us. I also want to say thank you to all the content creators, whether I have heard your name mentioned or not, because I know y'all have been sending people over here, and I just want to say thank you. Thank you for joining the Trendy Tribe who said that. Thank you so much. Uh-oh. Okay, let me see. Oh, you know what? I'm trying to highlight in the real YouTube side. That's why you can't see it. That's me. But so some of the ones that I have heard, and please shout out the content creator that brought you here, because I definitely want their name to show up and they get credit for this. But I want to say thank you to Here for Hot Tea. She set it off for bringing attention to this particular topic, at least from what I saw. She was like, trending's over there sitting at 600 views, and this stuff needs to be seen. And she sent her people over here. So thank you. Thank you to Tea Talk with Your Girl. Thank you to Anthony Lofties, Diana Rose, and my unofficial mentor, Chit Chat with QT. Thank you to Sassy. I call her Sassy Sweet Tea. So Sassy TV from the 803. And also I have 2 mods that are creators. And that is Christy Time and Live, Laugh, Love. They were always shouting me out being my mods. That's just what they did, and I appreciate them. Welcome to the Trendy Tribe, Claudia. I'm happy to have you. And there are more. So I just want to again say thank you for real. I appreciate y'all. I will. Okay, I'm gonna say it again just in case, but I will try to pause and check for comments every now and again. Please be nice to each other in the chat. The mods are ready to put people in the real timeout, so we are here to chill and get some legal tea, you know. So, yes, okay, and all right. As we go through this request for partial summary judgment, because that's what we'll be reviewing, I will be flipping back and forth between some of the exhibits that they referenced in their brief. So we're going to look at some of the exhibits. Again, this was the request for partial summary judgment was submitted by Scolt's attorney. So this is for Scolt's side. This is why they think they should get a partial judgment. Okay. If you're new to my channel, this may not be a straight read through. My personality shall be infused throughout the live because that's just who I am. It is what it is. Okay. So I'm going to take a pause. I have to actually send my attorney friend the link because I said I was going to do that. And as you can see, I waited to the last minute and didn't do what I said I was going to do. So I'm going to send it to her real fast just in case she can just tune in. I was scared to tell her at first. With her being an attorney, I'm like, oh no, don't worry about it. But no, she's really nice. Thank you for becoming a trendy member, Joe. I appreciate it. And hey, Neva. Hey, Miss Main Event. Hey, Phyllis. Let me see. I know I saw more names. I'm going to see y'all come across again. Hey, Patricia T. Okay. All right. I sent it to her. Get back on track. Let's see if I have any other announcements. Oh, Mr. Rogers. Y'all not going to see Mr. Rogers in this video, but let me tell you what. He sunned the mess out of Bottom Row So in part 2. And so I had to find something with Mr. Rogers on there because the name of the attorney for Zen Gardens is Mr. Rogers. So yes. Okay, we'll get through this part 3. And this information is public. And I will just be saying my opinion on what we are all reading in black and white. Everything is alleged. I do not have a legal background. I just like legal documents sometimes. Okay. All right. Now let me get this pulled up for us. Let's see. Here we go. Let me get this sized up for us. Now, some of these may change sizes, so it is what it is, probably. Oh, okay. All right. So first is it's a short version of what we will then go into detail of. So you can see a quick summary of what Scholt is requesting and why. So it's a summary, and we shall go over each point in the next document. So Scholt is the plaintiff, and now they have also become the counterclaim defendant, if you are aware of parts 1 and 2. And Zen Gardens was the defendant, and now they are the counterclaim plaintiff as well. Okay, so this is a motion for partial summary judgment. And so I'm only reading the highlighted parts. I tried to get the meat of it for y'all. So the counterclaim defendant, Scholt Industries, Inc., also known as Scholt, moves this court to grant summary judgment in its favor as to all claims asserted against it by counterclaim plaintiff Zen Gardens, LLC. As grounds for this motion, Scholt states summary judgment is due to be granted in its favor on all claims asserted against it by Zen because there is no genuine issue as to any material fact, and Scholt is entitled to judgment as a matter of law as follows. So they believe there is no material evidence or fact that Zen Gardens should be suing them. That's what Scholt believes. And this, of course, this is submitted to the court on behalf of, like, their attorney submitted it on behalf of Scholt, which is basically, as we have seen, really we could kind of just say Bottom Row So. Hey, T-Talk with you, girl. So, hey, Kathy. All right. Any recovery sought by Zen is limited to liquidated damages in a maximum amount of $323,000 as pursuant to contract. The parties agreed to waive consequential damages, agreed liquidated liquidated damages shall be in lieu of actual damages, and further limited liquidated damages to a mere reduction of the contractor's fee of up to $323,000. So this is their main sticking point, that they cannot be sued for the $5.5 million in their belief, because the contract, which we're going to look at, has a clause that says the owner waives consequential damages and limits it up to, like, it was $1,200 or $1,400 per day for loss of rent and some other stuff we'll look at. So this is where they just think they got them, right? And here's the thing for Scolt's attorney that I'm like, oh, you are not, in my opinion, a good attorney, because he actually named this. Number one, when he was doing the deposition, he was talking about this document last in the deposition of Mr. Marsau Scott, which is from Zen Gardens. Hey, Talking Out Loud. Hey, Live, Laugh, Love. So he said, this is our smoking, I'm gonna say pow pow for YouTube. And I'm like, you don't say that. You keep your ace up your sleeve until trial. What is wrong with you? So I already know this is like the key to them, because he just couldn't keep it to himself. He felt so proud when he asked Mr. Shaw from Zen Gardens to read the clause or something from the contract that said he couldn't go above this amount and all that. And I was like, oh, you messed up already. And I don't even know the strategy yet of Zen Garden, but you messed up on Scolt's side, in my opinion, sir. I think his name is Mr. Anderson. Okay, so number two, Zen's claim for fraud fails because Zen cannot establish the reliance element required to prove a claim for fraud. I beg to differ on number two as well. Number three, Zen's claims for breach of contract, negligence, and set-off recoupment fail because Zen's own actions and inactions are responsible for any cost overruns or any other claim damages. The nerve to say Zen had the inaction is crazy to me. Wherefore, Scholt respectfully requests the court to enter an order granting summary judgment in its favor on all claims asserted against it by Zen. Right. That's what I'm reading the whole time. That's my thought, Live, Laugh, Love. Okay, as you can see, it was submitted by Mr. Anderson, which is their counsel, and the file date was August 28th, 2023, as y'all heard on Black Titanic's channel. That's when this was filed. All right. So now we will go into detail on why they think those statements are true. Oops. Hey, Girlfriend Chronicles. Okay. So we saw the title already. Hey, welcome to the Trendy Tribe, Miss Main Event. You will enjoy yourself, I promise. Okay. So this is how they stated. I disagree that these are undisputed material facts in my opinion, but this is how they stated. So I shall read it how they wrote it. Hey, thank you, Brandon, for coming back. Okay. Undisputed material facts. They're saying that Marsau Scott, who is from Zen Gardens, owner of Zen, he's one of the owners of Zen Gardens, holds himself out as a, quote, construction professional civil engineer. And I'm not going to go back to it because we looked at this a lot in part one, but their exhibit one of saying that that's how Mr. Marsau Scott represents himself, he answered plainly that he did not have a professional engineering certification, license, however they phrase it. I think the attorney may have asked him a question in a way that made it sound like that possibly, but he never said he had that type of credential. He said he had actual engineering in the company he worked for before he ventured out on his own. But okay, so number two, Shaw has never held a professional engineer license. Correct. And they're quoting where he said that in his deposition. He has not. He has said that. So, okay. Zen has no employees. I don't understand why that would matter or not matter if Zen has no employees to Scholt, because the money was still flowing until, to me, they messed up. Let me go ahead and read Destiny comment because it's bottom row soul stuff. Hi, Destiny. Okay, they're saying that anyone who reserved a booth at Blaque this weekend needs to check their reservations. Allegedly, it is homecoming weekend. Do not get finessed. Right. That's a PSA. That has to be highlighted. Do not get finessed by Bottom Row Soul and the crew. Oh, and his nickname for Rashid is No Deed Rashid. I got to go back in my comments to give credit to the person that put that nickname in the comments. But yes, No Deed Rashid is Rashid's name. I love it because y'all know his house was in his mama name and may still be in his mama name. So No Deed Rashid. Now, there's a footnote that says, while these facts may be taken as true for purposes of Scolt's motion for partial summary judgment, Scholt reserves the right to contest any or all of them at trial or any other proceeding. All right. Then Scholt says, during the building of the apartment complex, PPM, Shaw's own entity, served the purpose of ensuring construction went according to plans and specifications with the right quality and within schedule. In other words, PPM, i.e. Shaw, would oversee the general contractor, i.e. Scholt, and report back to Zen, i.e. Shaw, and his sole managing member, Zen Garden's manager, i.e. Shaw. Now, Mr. Shaw does hold a lot of LLCs. Again, though, just see part 1 for the full deposition, because when I tell you, I don't care. He has no leg to, Marsau has no leg to stand on, in my opinion. Thank you for becoming a Trendy Tribe member. Astute Queen B Thoughts. Thank you. I appreciate it. So the next point that they are making, PPM does not have any employees and Shaw is its sole owner. This once again is correct. Mr. Shaw does not mix pots of money. As it appears, Scholt does mix pots of money. So for each role Mr. Shaw held, he made sure the money flowed to the correct pot, in my opinion. So, all right, Zen Garden's manager receives defined fees as part of the subject apartment complex, presumably transferred from Shaw personally. Again, paperwork to back it up. Unfortunately, no problem in my eyes. Shaw or one of his entities also receives an asset management fee from Zen paid quarterly. The construction of Zen's apartment complex was Shaw's first project as a developer. So they're trying to point to his inexperience, and they're trying to say that they inflated the cost overrun. That's kind of their points they're making on here. Okay, it's Chrissy time. All right. In Shaw's own words, his role during the construction was essentially as a general contractor role and never got changed. They took that out of context. We'll get to it. Echoing this sentiment, when asked why Shaw hired him in light of the level of decision-making Shaw admittedly engaged in, Marsau Scott of Scholt explained, quote, in the state of Alabama, you need a general contractor's license in order to build anything. So I'm unaware of Vishal Shaw having a general contractor's license. So they're getting that from the deposition of Bottom Row. So they're quoting his own deposition for that part. All right. In fact, Shaw has never held a general contractor's license. Again, Mr. Shaw does not need to hold one, but they're trying to point this out. He is not trying to be a general contractor. He's trying to oversee the general contractor for quality. That's a big difference. At least one potential lender noted Shaw viewed himself as and wanted to be the general contractor, writing in an email to Shaw, oversight is good, but it sounds like you are really wanting to be the general contractor yourself with another credentialed GC under you. We have to see this email, y'all. This is Exhibit 3. We shall read this email. It is important because although I am still on Zen Garden's side, I agree with Mr. B. Preston that tried to warn Shaw that this seems like maybe not the one you want to go with because you're going to have to be so involved. So here's the email, Exhibit 3. All right, let me stop for a second. Oh, I see Black Titanic. Hello, Queen Black Titanic. How are you? Yes, please hit the like button. Thank you, Sheila Williams. I'm so glad I can see your comments, Black Titanic. Scholt was the GC, correct? Yes, TCB. Scholt was the general contractor for this specific contract. Yes, he was. And I'm saying he because I would say they, but when it came down to it, it seemed like nobody else showed up but Marsau. It seemed like a lot of ghosts on that budget sheet. Okay, no problem. It's Chrissy time. Please hit the like button. Bottom row. So all right, let's get to Exhibit 3. So this is an email from Mr. Brian Preston. He's from one of the banks that I believe turned down Vishal Shaw's request for a loan. And so the subject of the email is loan updates, and it is an email addressed to Mr. Vishal Shaw. So I'm going straight to the point where he started. So he says, Mr. Preston says, our chief credit officer and chief lending officer left that meeting with major concerns about the level of your involvement in the project. They are afraid that your planned level of involvement presents a serious potential problem between you and your contractor. It sounds as though you will be there pretty much all the time micromanaging the project. With this level of involvement, it is almost inevitable that you and your contractor will have issues at some point. These contractors are professionals and expect to be able to do their jobs as they see fit. Oversight is good, but it sounds like you are really wanting to be the GC yourself with another credentialed GC under you. I can almost guarantee that this arrangement will lead to problems. If you and the GC are at odds, and if they were to leave the project, they can shut the project down, file liens, lawsuits, etc. We have seen this exact scenario happen twice on commercial projects and have been in the middle of it both times. In one case, the project was never finished. In another, it was finished but ended up in litigation and drug out 1.5 years longer than it should, and the costs, including litigation, skyrocketed. I say all this to say that if you plan to leave your job and personally be there to manage the project on a daily basis, we probably will pass on the deal. There's just too much that can go wrong with this scenario. If your plan changes and you approach it like a typical scenario with your GC managing the project, subs, etc., and you have standard typical oversight, then that would be okay. This situation just creates a lot of potential landmines that we aren't comfortable with. Let me know your response and we will go from there. All right. So this bank, one of the ones that didn't approve them, they did try to warn him, like, hey, and this is Mr. Shaw's first one. So his naivete, I think, still led him to try to push forward, but they did try to warn him. Hey, Lori. Yes. Hi, Irene. I'm excited too, Lori. I'm here. Okay. So let's go back. So that was our exhibit number 3. Now, the next point that Scholt is trying to make, hey, CC Star, Shaw was aware of Scolt's experience in multifamily construction and, to that end, assumed an active role in the pre-construction process, even going to the extent of making dishonest representations to lenders. Shaw was aware of the degree of experience Scholt and Scott possessed regarding multifamily construction. During the pre-construction process, which involved bidding and negotiating, Shaw worked with Scholt to reduce the total cost of the project. Consequently, Shaw and Scott both presented contractors to each other with whom they each wanted to work, had several conversations with respect to the numbers, and really negotiated hiring. Shaw and Scott worked on the bid together for approximately 3 months, and they arrived at a number they believed the project would cost based on their collective experiences. Okay, I want to stop right here because here's the thing. The collective experiences, let's remember, includes who Bottom Row Soul presented would be on that job that we later found out did not come for the job. So there's still misrepresentation in how, to me, Zen Gardens became comfortable with having a not so experienced multifamily GC, but then he would be bringing these contractors that were supposed to have 10 years plus experience. So there's still, to me, misrepresentation on Bottom Row Soul's side. Okay, if you don't know by now, I am definitely not here for Bottom Row Soul. So Shaw and Scott worked on the bid together. Okay, I said that. Scolt's bid came in at $1.5 million lower than the second lowest bidder. Shaw admits to meeting at least a few of Scolt's subcontractors prior to the project's commencement. When asked whether he negotiated pricing with any of the subcontractors he met, Shaw initially testified not directly. However, in an effort to give lenders confidence in the project, and contrary to his sworn testimony, Shaw represented to lenders he met all subcontractors. Now, this part, I will say Zen Gardens will have to fight for this part. I can admit that, because once I read this email and then I saw the deposition of Mr. Vishal Shaw, they're going to have to clarify, fight it. I don't know what we're going to see. Oops. Both sides were new and right. Lasso faked the fun. Right, the real VB. Right. Hey, little Paulette in the game. Oh, yes. Okay. All right. Let's see. So we're going to go to Exhibit 4. All right. Let's see what Exhibit 4. So we have an email from Mr. Scott Seeley to Vishal Shaw's, which is Zen Garden, and it was about the bidder's qualification statements, and this is Progress Bank, okay? So remember, if y'all have not seen part 1 and 2, every bank denied them, and then Bottom Row So brought in Eva Bank, which was the only bank that ended up approving a loan to let that contract go forward. That's the only one that it would do. Again, I for Mr. Shaw's sake, I wish he had a ran when he saw that only one bank would have approved them, but here we are. Okay, so this is from Zen Gardens to the person at the bank, Scott Seeley, and it says, "Hi Scott, I agree with you that Scholt has limited experience. However, based on my interaction with him so far, I feel that he knows his subject well." I'm putting that in red because we all know, or at least we have heard, mostly via Anthony Lofty's channel, and it's Chrissy Time, she's recapped some of the audio, that is also how he came across to Joy and to Bugs the barber, that he knew his stuff, right? So it's just that he just needed that chance, right? Okay. So and then the email says the current difference in bid analysis is about 1.5 million between Scholt and the second lowest guy, which makes us lean more towards him with appropriate factor of safety for everyone. So this is what he lists as it says Scholt brings the following strengths to the project. So this is what was represented to Zen Gardens. All the subcontractors are local and solid in business since over 10 years minimum, including but not limited to major ones like site work, framer, mechanical, electrical, and plumbing. So, okay, if you're bringing in the 10 years experience and you're telling me you're just good at organizing, basically, because you're bringing in the ones, I can see that, right? But again, from what we read, these people never actually came. That's what I got from the depositions. Number 2, all the subcontractors are bondable for their portion of work. That is very important. That lowers the risk. Number 3, a reasonable bond shall be obtained for self-performed work per advice from Scott Boyette. Hey, Auntie Maritha. How are you? Okay, number 4. I have met all his subs last week with good interactions and experience with multifamily and commercial projects. QA from my experience. Okay, so this is where they got the word all. He didn't emphasize all. I don't know how much he was trying to put on the all, because to me, the first 3 bullets are the strong bullets. I don't think it really matters if he met all the subs versus some of the subcontractors, because in the end, you're telling me you're going to bring these people with 10 years minimum experience, and they'll be bonded. Like, that's what I would think. Right? Black women are in the building. Right. So number 5, he's saying that a strength that Scholt is saying they're bringing is a good project manager and superintendent. Is that not Uncle Mike? That's supposed to be Uncle Mike. I interviewed them last week. Number 6, Marsau Scott, principal of Scholt, is resident of Madison and will have continuous oversight. That's what he represented to the bank. I feel like those are reasonable statements to what was being presented to him. Okay, it says, in addition to the above, okay, we'll go in summary. In summary, we feel that if the subcontractors are solid and local with appropriate bonding and builder's risk insurance policies, highlight the phrase insurance policies in place, along with proper construction management, we can successfully complete the project within the budget with desired quality. In this case, a smaller contractor like Scholt can pass on the savings to the project, unlike bigger general contractors, and a small business gets lift to the next level with appropriate safety layers. So you see, he is also here supporting a small business. Okay. Hey, Jazzy J for life. What? Oh, okay. I'll have to find out later. Let me stay on task. Black Titanic said Basement Billy in charge. Wait, no. I thought Uncle Mike was in. Basement Billy had a title too, didn't he? Both of them, Uncle Mike Scott and Basement Billy, were mentioned in that deposition. Hi, Jesse Brayley Lewis. Okay, it says, we request you to work with us with appropriate requirements that the bank may have. The savings are about $1.5 million plus with the second lowest guy and can improve the pro forma well. We are planning to finalize the bids by the end of next week and we'll be in touch. Okay. Yeah, please hit that like button. Okay. Thank you, mods, for dropping the links. All right. So we're going through our exhibits because y'all, they really think they got something here. All right. So Shaw also represented to lenders. This is back from Scolt's perspective again. Shaw also represented to lenders. He would, quote, be personally involved in a role of construction manager oversight, general contractor for the project, end quote. And per both depositions, it seems like Vishal Shaw was. He did hold up that part of his representation, in my opinion. Next, it says Shaw additionally represented to lenders he would, quote, be traveling and spending 50% of his time minimum for the project for construction management, end quote. Again, I feel like he didn't waver from that in his deposition. By the time Scholt was actually hired as a general contractor, Shaw had already begun the subcontractor review process. It is funny to me that Bottom Row So and his attorney keep making it look like Shaw in that part, in that stage, was making the decisions by themselves when they made them together. And again, we know how Bottom Row So fast talks people. And then I will also point out for people that did not watch part 1, English is Mr. Shaw's second language. I believe second. It's not his first. Okay. So between Marsau fast talking, you see how he tries to talk circles around the local people in Alabama. I can only imagine how it was to try to keep up with the verbal promises versus the written promises. And I feel like Zengards is holding him to his written promises, in my opinion. Okay, now it says ultimately Shaw and or Zengarden hired the subcontractors that work on the project. Okay, so they did it together. As the project moved forward, Shaw communicated with Scott frequently, often daily. Even when on site, Shaw frequently had in-person meetings with Scott. So this right here supports the fact that he said he'd try to be there at least 50% of his time minimum. So I don't understand, but okay. Then it says during these meetings, Shaw and Scott discussed the project, which, quote, may include material, invoices, labor, skilled labor, the schedule, everything, end quote. And then it says Shaw admits he did not conduct any due diligence. So we are going to go to the deposition for this line because I wanted to see how did he say that? What do they mean? So I'm going to go to this one. So let me find it. Let's see, 170, 17 through 21. Hold on, y'all. Sorry, avert your eyes if it makes you dizzy. Okay, 170. And it said 17 through 21. Okay, so this is where he's getting that from. So the attorney, Scolt's attorney, said, okay, you didn't do any of your own due diligence. And Shaw says, no, again, I mentioned earlier that our due diligence was limited to general contractor in most of the time, except the few interactions that I had with some of the contractors, like the site contractor, in which I mentioned a few minutes ago, the site contractor, framer, electrical, and the plumbing contractor. Okay, so that's what he said. And I wanted to go up above line 17 through 21 and point out to you all that starting at line 8, Mr. Shaw said all the subcontractors are local and solid in the business since over 10 years minimum, including but not limited to the major work like site work, framer, mechanical, electric, and the plumbing. Okay. Okay, so D says you don't feel like there was due diligence. He was interviewing people that were supposed to come on, and but again, I don't know before Bugs and Joy how much locally they could have researched. A lot of times people they don't leave stuff in writing. That's all I'm gonna say. But I don't know. They probably still could have done something. They maybe could have found something out. But we are here now, so they just got to go from this point. All right. Their next point is mere months into construction, in the midst of the COVID. I already said it. The C word, and prior to any deadline for final substantial completion, Shaw hired another general contractor, leading to substantial cost overruns. So then they presented Exhibit 5, which they're saying on February 24th, 2020, Zen and Scholt executed AIA document A102-2017, a standard form of agreement between owner and contractor, wherein Scholt agreed to perform certain construction services. Right, Black women are in the building. Certain construction services and furnish certain materials, and Zen agreed to timely pay Scholt for such construction work, services, and materials all in connection with the Zen apartment complex. All right, let's go to Exhibit 5. So this is the contract. It was a long one. They had to split it up in parts, but this is the contract. The agreement was made the 24th day of February in 2020. 2020? Yeah, 2020, between the owner, Zen Gardens, and the contractor, Scholt Industries. And then we're going to go on down to the line that they pointed out, which was, okay, I think it's Article 6? Let me see. Some of these, I was like, I will just find it when I get there, because some of these, let's see, is that it? Article 3. I think it's Article 3. Let me check. Doc 1, page 3, paragraph 6. Sorry, y'all. This one caught me up a little bit. Okay, yeah. This is where they're quoting Article 3, relationship of the parties. The contractor will to furnish efficient business administration and supervision, to furnish at all times an adequate supply of, No. The contractor accepts the relationship of trust and confidence established by this agreement and covenants with the owner to cooperate with the architect and exercise the contractor's skill and judgment in furthering the interests of the owner, to furnish efficient business administration and supervision, to furnish at all times an adequate supply of workers and materials, and to perform the work in an expeditious and economical manner consistent with the owner's interests. The owner agrees to furnish and approve in a timely manner information required by the contractor and to make payments to the contractor in accordance with the requirements of the contract documents. Okay. Hey, Strawberry Taffy. How are you? Okay. Yeah, right, Patricia. Okay. Let me go back. Let's see now what's the next reference. Okay, now they're saying Section 15.1.7 of the contract basically states the contractor and owner waive claims against each other for consequential damages arising out of or relating to this contract. This is a big piece again of their fight, of Scolt's fight. So we're going to go to, I think, okay, yeah, 31-7. All right. Is this it? Yep, we're on the page. Okay, so this is where they are saying that it should be waived. So 15.1.7, waiver of claims for consequential damages. It is in the contract, but we shall continue. The contractor and owner waive claims against each other for consequential damages arising out of or relating to this contract. This mutual waiver includes damages incurred by the owner for rental expenses, for losses of use, income, profit, financing, business and reputation, and for loss of management or employee productivity or of the services of such persons, and damages incurred by the contractor for principal office expenses, including the compensation of personnel stationed there, for losses of financing, business and reputation, and for loss of profit, except anticipated profit arising directly from the work. Okay. So I feel like even in that clause, they missed that last sentence because they're waiving it. Again, the last phrase says, except anticipated profit arising directly from the work. So if it was not good work or not done work at all, I feel like that kind of negates what we read, but I have another one for the end. It says this mutual waiver is applicable without limitation to all consequential damages due to either party's termination in accordance with Article 14. Nothing contained in this section shall be deemed to preclude assessment of liquidated damages when applicable in accordance with the requirements of the contract documents. I feel like Marsau and his attorney also should have read that sentence. I really feel like they should have paid attention to that sentence. That's something we're going to come back to. All right. So that's when they read what I just read. And then it says, meanwhile, section 5.1.6 of the contract limits any recovery sought by the owner, Zen, from contractor Scholt to liquidated damages consisting of a mere reduction of the general contractor's fee. And then they quote this part. I'm not going to go back to it because it is directly from the contract. I verified. And it said, if substantial completion is not reached within the time provided in this contract, including approved and warranted extensions of time, quote, the contract time, Compensation due to the contractor shall be reduced by an amount equal to $1,500 per day. So $1,500 per day is what Scholt is saying. That's all that Zen Gardens can claim in their losses, which is why they're saying you got to reduce that $1,500 per day penalty from their contractor's fee. I knew Marsau was a fraud when he listed Basement Billy as a construction superintendent. Don't worry, the judge will pay attention to that sentence. Right, right. They must have friends at that bank. They approved that loan. I think they had, I'm going to say, scanned it on the minds when Zen Garden agreed on the contract. Ooh, Sandra. Okay. Hey, Taisha J. Hi, sis. How are you? Okay. They might have friends at that bank. Oh, okay. I got you. All right. Next part. Oh, sorry. Let me see. Did I read that? So it says, as it does read in the contract, the parties hereby acknowledge that this liquidated reduction in compensation shall be assessed in lieu of the reimbursement of actual damages, as they bolded that because they depend on that part of the sentence, caused by the delay because of the anticipated difficulties in estimating such delayed damages in advance or in accurately calculating such damages after they are incurred. Okay. In March 2020, the notice to proceed was issued at approximately the same time C-related lockdown started. Okay. Despite the notice to proceed being issued in March 2020, the municipal building permit was not issued until June 5th, 2020, because Scholt was not timely provided an adequate set of building plans until late May 2020. So I'm gonna have to let that one sit, but what I will say is in the deposition, the shall emphasized that they could not even approve the bid unless they, how did they say it? Unless they had a notice to proceed, because that's when that clock would have started, I believe. So I feel like, and I think they said there was possibly a typo with the permit or something in one of the depositions, but I'm gonna let them, they're gonna sit in that one for now. But I call grabbing at anything so you can have delays. But okay, next. Mere months later, in approximately October or November 2020, Zen hired Martin and Kobe Construction, Inc. If you were there for the deposition, you know why they hired them. Shaw suggested M&C be put between PPM, Shaw's own management company. I think Shaw saw his limitations and needed another more maybe either experienced or they could be there more than him and they were on site the whole time because again he was in California. Mr. Shaw lives in California, not in Alabama. So he put them there. I think he was seeing red flags. I feel like he cited the red flags in his deposition. M&C purportedly brought skill sets, superintendents, and yet another project manager to the project. When Shaw hired M&C, Scholt had not missed the third contract milestone, which was the final substantial completion date for the project. I do want to point out that Scholt had missed milestone 1 and milestone 2. So yeah, M&C was brought in before they could then miss milestone 3. Now, again, they're not going to get credit for milestone 3 possibly because M&C had to come in and start, put some more things in motion. But it's funny how they word that they hadn't missed milestone 3 without addressing the fact that they had already missed milestone 1 and 2. Okay. Even though building plans were delayed and C complications were ongoing. Okay. Then it says, in fact, fairly close to M&C's hiring on August 31st, 2020, in response to Scott's 4-week look-ahead schedule for September, Shaw replied, "Thank you, Marsau. Schedule looks promising with reasonable, achievable activities." Yeah, because you presented something that looked reasonable, bottom row. So that's not, to me, like those kind of emails, that's just a polite thank you for providing what I asked for. And it looks like you'll be able to do this. I really don't, I feel like there's stuff they're padding this right now. Notably, Shaw seemingly planned to engage M&C for project management services well before the project began as early as 2018. I feel like he probably kept him on standby because he had an uneasy feeling, or that bank wouldn't have told him he sounded like he was about to really, really micromanage. Thank y'all for dropping the content creators links. Yet Zen did not notify Scholt it was using M&C to supplement Scholt. Let's get to the deposition because here we go. It says, similarly, Shaw cannot answer whether Zen gave Scholt written notice that Scholt was in default when Zen hired M&C. Default is a very important phrase in contracting. Okay, so they're trying to say, Scholt is trying to say they were not notified that they were in default. Okay, so let's go to the deposition. So we got 153, 11 through 19. Okay, hold on. Let's get there. Sorry for the fast scrolling. What did it say? 11. Let me double check. What did it say? Okay, 11 through 19. Okay, so 11 starts with Mr. Anderson, which is the Scholt lawyer, said in 2020, when Martin and Kobe, which is MNC, is coming on, did you notify Martin and Kobe that, he says, excuse me, did you notify Scholt that it was in default? And Vishal says, in writing. And then he said, and Vishal says, no, not at that date did he notify them. Okay. I'm going to scroll up to what Mr. Vishal said right before that question, though. He said, let me see, where's the question? Okay. He said, Zengarden said, however, Scholt was notified the default of the contract with 3 different letters in February, March, and April of 2021. And they said, and you responded to one of them talking to the attorney of Scholt. So they were notified they were in default, I think, at the time when funds were stopping to Scholt. I feel like that's when it mattered. Hiring some more people before then, I don't know. But yes. They definitely told him 3 times in writing, and the attorney had to answer one of the letters. The judge is highlighting stuff like you. Thank you, Joy. I know they are. Oh, I know they are. You're a business person, but you don't know when you are in default, right? Black women are in the building, and you don't know about your insurance claim either, it sounded like in that deposition for bottom row. So, okay. So now we got that. Next, they say Shaw also ultimately hired the card group, and specifically Rushil Choksy as owner's representative. I have to kind of go into my own memory bank, so I apologize if I say this a little bit wrong, but the card group was brought on when they had to start paying the subcontractors directly, because the subcontractors were putting liens on Zen Gardens because they were not getting paid by their general contractor, who was bottom row. So it's very weird to me that they bring this up as a point of pain when it's like, y'all know they did this because you weren't paying. Okay. After Marsau realized by the question they were asking, they know more than he thought. I think that's why he wanted to drop it. He doesn't know who he's dealing with. These people don't investigate him. Well, Barbara, he was trying to hurry up and get his ruling for his money. That's what this is. He's trying to get his contractor's fee and dip out. Okay. All right. So next it says yet another company, Papa Jack's, also helps Zen make payments through his credit card through the local things, because each and every time, everything that they're quoting Mr. Vishal Shah. So quote, through the local things, because each and everything that, kind of in my understanding, we had to do on our own because the contractor was not performing. Yes, Papa Jack's also, and I don't know if they were helping until they could bring on the card group, but Papa Jack's was helping them as well, because they had to pay Lowe's, they had to pay, local vendors and stuff like that. When I say they, I mean Zen Gardens all of a sudden had to pick up that responsibility. Zen reimbursed Papa Jack's for these services. While the card group and MNC were simultaneously on site, PPM, Shaw's own company, was now overseeing both of them. Yes, because he still has to oversee his operations. So okay. Zen paid the card group $126,666.69 for its services as owner's representative from January 31st, 2021 through September 30th, 2021. PPM, Shaw's company, received approximately $350,000 according to Shaw's estimate. This is again from a report that they can prove why he got the money. In my opinion, how I understood it. Irene Bass. Okay. Please like the video. All right. Then it says Zen also hired Hawthorne Residential Partners to provide apartment management services. They did. Hawthorne carried out its apartment management work through ZG Manager, as demonstrated in the email address of at least one Hawthorne employee. Oops. Despite this heavy amount of redundant hiring related to management and supervision, Zen nevertheless experienced numerous shortcomings during the project as a result of poor planning, as Zen set unrealistic deadlines and overpromised and underdelivered the balance of units. Okay, so Scholt believes everything was redundant and now they're getting left with the bill. Shaw blamed the cost overruns on any number of factors, including, quote, price increase on many items because of supply demand, due to C, general contractor being inexperienced on the project, which we know that was fact, design and city inspectors revisions on many items during the construction, etc. So we're going to go to exhibit 15 to look at the email. Let me see. And it's okay. Yeah, let's look at the email first. Let's stay on course. So exhibit 15. This is from Vishal of Zen Gardens to Richard George. And the subject is request for additional funding. So was he at the bank? I can't remember. He might be at the bank. Okay, but Vishal says, double checking myself. Okay, Vishal says the cost overrun is combination of many factors, including but not limited to price increase on many items because of supply demand situation occurred because of C19, the general contractor being inexperienced on the project, design and city inspectors revisions on many items during construction, etc. The buyer intends to close the deal as soon as we receive CO for the last building, certificate of occupancy for the last building targeting in 6 weeks from now. Okay, so he did acknowledge in that email that C19 was causing certain issues. Now, he said C19 was causing issues on price increase, not C19 was causing issues in delay, is how I read this email. Because if we go back to Scholt, they're saying despite blaming C19 for cost overruns, Shaw later testified he is of the opinion C19 never affected manpower. And he did not experience delivery problems in 2020. Well, that email doesn't say that it did affect manpower or that he experienced delivery problems in 2020 due to C. He said it's because of the price increases due to C19, supply, price. Okay. Black Titanic says Marsau had so many chances and these people tried to give him the benefit of the doubt, but he is so crooked. He had a lot of chances. He's presenting evidence on how they gave him a lot of chances. That is so ridiculous to me. So this is one of the projects he talked about during the first reunion back. Right. He said he overextended himself, which my opinion means he spent the money. Right. Then their next point, Scolt's point, is that Zen failed and continues to refuse to pay Scholt any money, even a single dollar, for services and materials provided despite earning rental revenues from a fully functioning apartment complex. Let me tell you what, I wouldn't give you a dollar either, no matter if the apartment's up or not, because to me, you didn't build it. So yeah, I got my apartments, but you didn't do it. Like, what are you talking about? That's like I go and braid my own hair, but the hairstylist says I didn't pay her for my modeling gig I got based on me getting my hair done. I did my own hair. Like, what are you talking about? He's going down, right? That's what it seems like. He's spending on new peaches and trips to the motherland. All right, so then Scholt says, sorry for the sharp S's, y'all. My husband told me I have very sharp S's. Hold on. Did I already say this? Oh, the last item of work or labor was performed, or the last item of any material was furnished for any building or improvement on the project no earlier than December 21, 2021. Similarly, the certificate of occupancy for the last building issued December 2021. That's right. That's what Mr. Shaw said in his deposition. Zen withheld and continues to withhold retainage from Scholt in the amount of, quote, somewhere around $275,000 for out-of-pocket expenditures Scholt actually incurred for purchases of material for the project. Zen also withheld and continues to withhold the entirety of the general contractor's fee in the amount of $350,000. Hi, Rox. I am from the UK and a project manager in construction. I can assure you Marsau has committed fraud, and this case will go to the Criminal Justice Department. He's headed to jail. Oh, Rox. Okay. Hey, Hannah Grace. Thank you, Rox. I like it when our SMEs chime in. In my opinion, he didn't go to the motherland. He went to Africa, Alabama, Club Africa. When I tell you, I think that man just turned his phone off. All right, so they're saying that Shaw's initial reasoning for Zen never paying Scholt the general contractor's fee or any monies whatsoever, or otherwise reimbursing Scholt for its expenses for material, was the contract milestones had not been reached. However, at his deposition, Shaw stated Zen never paid Scholt a single dollar of the $125,000 Scholt otherwise would have received upon completion of phase 1 of the project because Scholt did not send an invoice to Zen. He said both, okay? There's an incentive fee that it seems like Bottom Rosso had if he reached his milestones. That was a bonus fee. He would have gotten money for hitting those milestones. It's like, hey, good job. Then he also did not get reimbursed for the expenses he may have actually somehow come out of pocket for because he's not providing proof. They tried to do 2 audits on him and they were both unsuccessful because they couldn't make sense of the paperwork per the deposition. So it's very, I mean, I guess I know that's what attorneys probably are supposed to do. They play with words, but I'm like, come on. For the same purported reason, Zen never paid Scholt a single dollar. Okay, we talked about that. Scholt, in fact, provided Zen an invoice for $804,321.35, including a reduced general contractor's fee of $323,000 and a retainage balance of $197,158.99. Here's the thing. You can throw numbers on a paper, but from what I gathered, they are not providing the substantial paperwork to back up the numbers. They just typed a number on a piece of paper and tried to make it look nice in Excel. Like, that's what it seems like. Yes, Thursday, for those that have come in later, Thursday, we will be going over the witness list. So please be here this Thursday coming up, because we shall look at the witness list. Who are they calling as witnesses? He created his own bonuses with the leasing of vehicles and stunting on the gram. Right. Okay, right. You have to bring receipts, period. Okay. Now they're trying to say who was paid in full, but this is the thing. I think those people produced their receipts. So in contrast to the lack of any payment to Scholt, PPM, Shaw's own company, was paid in full. M&C was paid in full. The card group was paid in full, save for the last month. According to Shaw's own reconciliation sheet, construction/project management fees, all of which have been paid, including to Shaw's own company, totaled $826,015.47 as compared to Scholt's still unpaid general contractor's fee of less than $350,000. The project's architect, Leonard Designs PC, was also paid in full. Shaw provided Scholt with Shaw's own reconciliation sheet that included the detailed project costs spread out between entire trades. Okay. Shaw claimed Scholt owes Zen for a total project cost overrun revenue impact of $5,548,409.33. In case you wanted to know it down to the cent, that's what they wrote on their side. That's how much that's how much Zen is saying you owe me. Oh my, somebody going to jail, right, Soul Star? Where are their receipts, Taisha? It's that simple. I don't know if they're professional auditors, but I know they requested the documents so they could get them audited, cannot make sense of what you're providing. That sounds fugazi, in my opinion. Hi, April Nicole. Fix it, Jesus, right? Thank y'all for being in here. Please like the video. All right, it says, yet Zen Gardens apartment complex currently exists and is being leased and rented. Again, you didn't braid their hair. You don't get benefits for this. As of May 2022, Zen receives a distribution of $144,025. I'm sorry, $144,025 on a monthly basis, or more than $1.7 million annually. See Exhibit 18. Did I pull up 18? I did. So yes, they do. But my thing is, get out their pockets. They doing what they supposed to do. Stop pocket watching. Black Titanic said, don't forget he was renting the equipment and got sued by Equipment Share because Marsau stole the equipment. Oh, Black Titanic, get those jumpsuits ready. You're right, Black. I remember that, Black Titanic. I remember. Builders usually offer bonuses as incentives for contractors to finish the job in a timely manner. Looks like Scholt did not earn any bonus because they failed to complete the job to industry standards. And at all, Hannah, I don't even think they made it to get it inspected to see if it was right. They didn't make it. They didn't make it. And right, those are the milestones, Hannah, and they did not make it. Okay. The uncle from Texas was in town during this time, and Marsau took him to Bedrock and was talking about Scholt manners. The uncle looked at him like he was crazy, and we've never seen the uncle anymore. Oh, that's funny. That's funny. Okay, so yes, there is proof that this man is getting his money. Get out his pockets, though. Okay, next. Then it says, okay, this is this part. They tried to go back into some procedural history to try to say because of the micromanaging, that also caused them to not get the job done. Thank you so much for the super sticker, April Nicole. Thank you. I appreciate you. Thank you so much. Okay, you know it's going to go to another court document, April. All right, relevant procedural history. On June 21st, 2022, Scholt filed his complaint against Zen, asserting against Zen a claim for breach of contract and a claim under Alabama's Prompt Payment Act. On July 12, 2022, Zen filed his answer and counterclaims purporting to state claims against Scholt for breach of contract, fraud / negligent misrepresentation, negligence, and set-off recoupment. On August 2nd, 2022, Scholt filed its reply to Zen's counterclaims. All right, so here's their argument. All right, let me see. Zen's counterclaims vaguely assert Scholt breached the contract or defrauded Zen. They're saying vaguely. No, it's not vague. Specifically, under count 2, Zen claims Scholt defrauded it, while counts 1, 3, and 4 appear to substantively assert the same vague breach of contract claims. From the outset, the relief requested fails because the terms of the contract limit Zen's recoverable damages. We talked about the $1,500 per day for loss of rent and liquidated damages. And again, Scholt is asserting it should have just reduced their contractor's fee. Okay. And let's see. As to the merits of the claims, they likewise fail due to Zen's inability to establish it relied upon Scholt's purported representations. I feel like they are establishing that. And because Zen, not Scholt, is liable for the damages it claims from Scholt due to the significant amount of influence Zen and Shaw exercised over the pre-construction process and during the project. So Alabama law enforces contracts as written. That is true. And I feel like they should have read their whole contract. Quote, a document incorporates by reference another document through explicit language or by expressly referring to and sufficiently describing the document to be incorporated. The general rule of contract law is that when the parties reduce their agreements and obligations to writing, the writing in the absence of mistake or fraud, I had to put that part in red, in the absence of mistake or fraud is the sole expositor of the transaction and intention of the parties. And the court cannot, under the guise of construction, provide a new and different contract for the parties. To that end, the interpretation of the contract is a question of law within the scope of the trial court's determination. An interpretation of the contract which gives a reasonable, lawful, and effective meaning to all of the terms is preferred to an interpretation which leaves a part unreasonable, unlawful, or with no effect. Here, per the terms of the contract, Zen's claimed damages are unrecoverable as a matter of law. I disagree. All right, they're talking about reducing their amount again, just off that $300,000 contractor's fee. And they're trying to say that Zen waived the ability to recover their damages under that section we read earlier. All right, y'all should have kept reading. Zen waived any claim for consequential damages. They're quoting that clause again, 15.1.7. They are leaning on 15.1.7. I don't know how Marsau is going to explain all this in court. Now, I don't know. Do they have a court date of October 2nd? Because I saw they had a deadline. Zen Gardens had a deadline to get their stuff in by October 2nd. So let me know if you saw a court date of October 2nd. So you telling me this man was just taking videos in front of places and saying he built it? Sheila. Hey, who said that? I listened 10 minutes away from Danielle's office in Greensboro, North Carolina. Can Zen Gardens call? Look, I don't know if let me tell you what, because I don't have a legal background, Joe, I don't know. Let me just say that I honestly just don't even know. Let me stop even acting like I have a inkling of can they or can they not. I do not know. Okay, so then consequential damages again, they're saying it can't exceed that $323,000. Then, okay, they're limited to the liquidated fees. They leaning on 5.1.6, the $1,500 per day. This is where I got the word meritless from. They said Zen's claim for fraud are meritless because neither Zen nor Shaw can satisfy the reliance element. Okay. All right. So this Scholt says count 2 of Zen's counterclaim asserts a vague action for fraud / negligent misrepresentation, reciting a litany of items which Scholt purportedly misrepresented, including the experience and skill level possessed by Scholt in completing projects similar to Zen Gardens Apartments, skilled project managers and superintendents who would provide quality work as required by the contract, the hiring of skilled, competent subcontractors to complete the project in a timely and workmanlike manner, and its ability to perform the job for a specific price, which was substantially lower than other bids received by Zen, which Zen asserts was done in an effort to lure Zen into accepting Scolt's bid for the contract. So it says Zen alleges these representations were material in nature and reasonably relied upon when Zen engaged in the negotiation and ultimate execution of the contract. Alabama follows a reasonable reliance standard as to fraud claims. Thus, to prevail on his claims, a fraud claimant must show not only that he or she relied on the defendant's alleged misrepresentation, but also that that reliance was reasonable in light of the facts surrounding the transaction in question. A plaintiff must prove that he or she reasonably relied on the defendant's misrepresentation in order to recover damages for fraud. Furthermore, a party's failure to exercise some measure of precaution to safeguard his own interest precludes an action for fraud. The right of reliance comes with a comes with a concomitant duty on the part of the plaintiff to exercise some measure of precaution to safeguard their interest. This is just my opinion, layperson. My opinion is that they did do that by Scholt presenting that their contractors were skilled and would be bonded. And then there would be insurance covering anything that Marsau or, anything under Marsau that they actually touched. That's what was supposed to happen. Black Titanic said Marsau stupid. He was an unknown company that was given a chance. If he would have done well, he could be a millionaire because there's so much construction going on in Madison, Alabama. I agree. If he would have just actually used the money for what it was for, he could have built a reputation to keep coming back. There is just no words for these people. Hi, Evelyn. Correct. That's all he do is go live at construction sites and dip. Y'all are ridiculous. Hey, thank you. First of all, thank you for everyone that did come in and like the video. Please like the video if you have not. Notifications do not always work, but coming up on your browse page really works. So please like the video so I can show up on your browse page, okay? Marsau needs to fire his lawyer. That way he can pay Zen $450 an hour. I guess Marshall won't be able to get the top row done. We wouldn't see it anyway. I think he did get it done, but would we see it? We would not see it. Fraud is the same everywhere in the world. Come on, Sexy Chocolate. Right. Okay. Okay, let me get back into you never win when you play dirty. Come on, Kevin, with Nene's words. Yes. Okay. Next up, we have this is what Scholt is saying. The undisputed facts in the present case foreclose any semblance of a fraud claim, as Shaw and Scott were very much collaborators during the pre-construction process where many of these supposed instances of fraud occurred. They were a bit of co-collaboration. That's called a negotiation process, though. I see. Oh my gosh, even that, I feel like Bottom Row So doesn't understand what negotiation means, because in negotiations, you tell them, okay, well, let's do this. If you do this, I can give way here. And maybe part of it was, I'm more comfortable if you let me interview some of your subcontractors. If you do this, if I can provide this part for you, I can get the cost down. Yes, that is called negotiations. He acts like they were just supposed to not say anything to him and just either sign the paperwork or they take all the liability, and that's not how that works. Okay, so Then it says Shaw was admittedly aware Scholt had limited experience in multifamily construction. As a result, during the pre-construction process, which itself heavily entailed bidding and negotiation, Shaw worked with Scholt to reduce the cost of the project. Throughout that process, both parties presented potential contractors with whom they each wanted to work, and furthermore had several conversations with respect to the number, and really, here it goes, negotiated hiring. That was one of the words for negotiating. For approximately 3 months, the parties worked on the bid together based on what they believed the project would cost. With such a heavy amount of input, Zen cannot now reasonably claim Scolt's bid lured Zen into accepting Scolt's claim. You were in negotiation. I don't know if Zen knows about Joy and Bugs. Seeing how Mr. Vishal Shah moves, I don't think he does know. I don't know if he does know. And again, I'm not sure what role for sure they can play, except maybe it'll help them look more into other things that maybe they can admit into. I don't know. Let me get back into my lane. I don't know. Just Mia said, if Joyce and Bugs are on that witness list, I'm going to fall out. Marsau too busy trying to run game and know the game has caught up with him, in my opinion. Yes. Yes, ma'am, Donna. Bottom row so. Okay. Aside from having been privy to the actual creation of Scolt's bid, Shaw was aware that Scolt's qualifications were such that he would have to convince lenders to agree to finance the project. In an effort to boost confidence in Scholt, Shaw, they're bolding and underlying, falsely claimed to have met all of Scolt's subcontractors. I definitely don't feel like he had put emphasis on all, but again, Mr. Rogers, who is a great attorney sounding like for Zen Gardens, he'll have to fight that and they'll be okay. And represented to lenders, he would be personally involved in a role of construction manager, oversight general contractor for the project. Now, earlier, they wrote that they were in contact really frequently, and meaning Mr. Shaw and Bottom Rousseau. In Alabama, reasonable reliance is a key element in the viability of a claim for fraud. As demonstrated, the record is replete with examples of Shaw's privity, not only to the formulation of Scolt's bid, but also to any of Scolt's alleged shortcomings, as well as Shaw's own efforts to assuage the concern of lenders. As such, Zen cannot now plausibly claim it relied to its own detriment upon any representation Scholt made. This alone defeats Zen's fraud claim. We disagree, y'all. I know we disagree with that statement. Yet, even if Zen was somehow unaware of Scolt's qualifications for the project, Zen's fraud claim still fails because Shaw admitted he did not perform his own due diligence on Scholt. And I think I read that one earlier because that's the same citing. Under Alabama law, a party's failure to exercise some measure of precaution to safeguard his own interests precludes an action for fraud. I feel like he did. In my opinion, they know. Okay, Barbara. Thursday is witness list time. Joy and Bugs need to attach themselves to this case and they'll have a win for sure. If this was a class action or something like that, they probably could, but I don't think they could attach it in this type of case. I think they still have to keep their own separate, but they could maybe be something else for this case. But I think they have to keep theirs separate in this type of case. Will Scott 1.0 make enough this weekend to pay for this? That's what I want to know. They acting like they sold out those luxury lounges, outside luxury lounges, Native One. We'll see. Monday is the 2nd. No, I know it's the 2nd, but I'm saying, Thierry, did you see that they actually have a court date? Just let me know if you saw they actually have a court date, or did you just hear they had a deadline of October 2nd? I want to make sure. I'm gonna have to go search again too on my end to see if there's something. Zen might not have known about Buzz and Joy at the time they did this deposition, but I bet they know about them now. I can see that. And Black Titanic says Marsau will never get another bank on his side again. He messed up the only bank that took a chance with him. Right. Evil was the last one. And then Black Titanic, I'm so glad you said that. I was like, oh my gosh, this man got the only bank that would back them. Then he tries to put them on a lawsuit. Oh, he done messed up. He has messed up. And Eva had to get themselves dismissed, like you pointed out, Black Titanic, because I had forgot about that. Eva was listed as a defendant, a co-defendant, and they got themselves taken off this lawsuit. I don't know what his actual original bid was. If it's in the contract, I skipped over for some reason, but I feel like I don't know, because see, it still has to be what he took his profit out of, even if he did have 11 million, because the majority of it was supposed to go to pay the labor and the materials, you know. I honestly don't know. I did not go look to see what his actual. I knew it was 1.5 million less than everybody else, but I don't remember what his bid was. Okay, so now we are at. Let me see. Let me read this real fast. Okay, they're saying that counterclaims purport to present separate causes of action for breach of contract, fraud, negligence, and set-off recoupment. From the outset, however, it should be noted a breach of contract claim cannot simply be recast as a negligence, fraud, or any other sort of tort claim. The mere failure to perform a contractual obligation does not constitute fraud, and a breach of contract claim cannot be recast as one sounding in tort. So they're citing, the attorney citing cases that I'm sure the rulings were in favor of the side that was accused of fraud. So it says here, all of Zen's counterclaims arise from Scolt's alleged failure to perform its duties under the contract and must therefore be treated as mere breach of contract claims. In any event, any damages claimed by Zen on the basis of some alleged breach of contract are clearly attributable. I cannot get that word. Attributable to Zen's and Shaw's own actions during both the pre-construction phase and the project, rather than any actions or inactions of Scholt. They're trying to remove themselves from blame completely. Thus, the claims are due to be dismissed for this additional reason. Zen's own liability for the purported damages is best demonstrated by way of analogy, using case law addressing a slightly different issue with a similar context. Okay, y'all, this is their reasoning. Oh my gosh, when I saw this, I said, no, you didn't. Okay, it says specifically, state and federal courts in Alabama have routinely found property owners responsible for workplace injuries to contractor employees. In these cases, property owners were found to have exercised such extensive control over the subject projects so as to incur liability upon themselves for safety concerns on the project sites, and therefore were liable for injuries that occurred on the sites. Using a similar rationale, Zen and or Shaw exercised such a large amount of authority over the project so as to incur liability upon themselves for any cost overruns incurred in the course of the project. To that end, the United States Court of Appeals for the 11th Circuit and the Alabama Supreme Court have each recognized an independent contractor relationship exists when the contractor is responsible to its employer only as to the result of its work and not as to the manner of performing. However, as Clark notes, if the premises owner exercises control over the means and manner in which the work is performed, the owner-independent contractor relationship is converted to that of master and servant. This implies liability for the actions of the servants fall upon said masters. For instance, in Alabama Power Company versus Beam, the Alabama Supreme Court affirmed the trial court's determination that Alabama Power had a duty to provide a safe place to work, and by extension to discourage negligence where it exercised such a substantial degree of control over several aspects of the project, including but not limited to determination of the actual quantity of work, labor, supervision, materials, equipment, personnel, and subcontracting. 2, reservation of the right to contract with other contractors to perform any part or parts of the work. And 3, coordination of all work and activities of the labor, foremen, and supervisors and other personnel of the contractor, along with several other instances of overreach. What Zen done was made sure that the project was completed. Right, Kevin? Right. Hey, Mary, late but here. Yes, you are. Okay, they saying you're right, Kevin. All right, so it says testimony indicated the owner's presence and control were pervasive at the site where the contractor worked, and where owner superintendent will hire employees of the owners who operate equipment owned by the contractor. Additionally, employees of the owner were assigned to work alongside employees of the contractor. The jury ultimately returned verdicts against the owner. As discussed, Shaw was heavily involved on behalf of Zen in the planning of the project and its financials. Shaw was aware of Scolt's experience in multifamily construction, and he actively worked with Scott to reduce the cost of the project. Further, although Shaw purports not to have directly negotiated with those subcontractors of Scholt with whom he has now admitted meeting, Shaw exercised a substantial amount of influence in Scott's negotiations with the subcontractors. During the pre-construction process, Scott and Shaw held several conversations with respect to the number and really negotiated hiring. Also collaborated with Scott to arrive at the appropriate numbers. The end result of this process was a greatly reduced cost, not only from Scholt, but the other contractors and subcontractors. This undoubtedly put great stress on the budgets of the numerous parties involved, which is the cause of any delays, cost overruns, or purportedly defective work with which Zen is purportedly dissatisfied, particularly when combined with the effects of C. Aside from the pre-construction activities Shaw participated in, Shaw's own over-involvement in the project is also the cause of any cost overrun. Although Shaw represented Zen in this project, he behaved as if he was the general contractor and admits his action role was not far from it. Further, Scott noted that his own hiring in light of Shaw's heavy directional involvement was because of Shaw's lack of a general contractor's license. Even a potential lender highlighted this trait in Shaw and warned Shaw against it. This attitude manifested itself in near constant directing and micromanaging. Okay, let me stop for a second. He's probably trying to use old receipts. That's why the auditors didn't understand what they were looking at. There is no court date. As I talked to the clerk, she said maybe in October, but couldn't give me a date until Zen Garden responds. Okay, so October 2nd was Zen Garden's deadline. That's what I had last seen as well. Oh, 733 watching, 518 likes. Thank you for being here. Please like the video so I can show up on your browse page. Someone asked a question, is Monday the 2nd? I was just saying, yes, the 2nd is Monday. I had heard they were going to trial on the 2nd. Oh, got you. Okay. So clearing up both. So the 2nd is on Monday, but no, at this time, they are not going to trial on Monday the 2nd. Got you. Seemed like he should have left Zen alone. Right. They were going to count their losses and just go. Okay, it says, meanwhile, Shaw and Scott communicated almost daily when Shaw was in California and met frequently when Shaw was on site. During such meetings, Shaw and Scott would discuss the project, which could include material, invoices, labor, skilled labor, the schedule, everything. At this level of micromanagement, Shaw was privy to every aspect of Scholt involvement in the project and therefore aware of any issues concerning cost overrun, particularly regarding materials and the like. As such, blame for any cost overrun falls squarely on Shaw and Zen, who exercised an unwarranted level of authority throughout the life of the project. Hey, Gemini Goddess. I hope he doesn't get away with this. Gemini, I hope he does not either. Hey, Rose. Thank you, Paulette. Yes, please like the video. Okay, so it says, finally, Shaw's unnecessary and frequently self-serving decisions during the project further pushed it beyond this budget. First, during the project, PPM, which has no employees and is owned solely by Shaw, purported to perform the function of ensuring construction went according to plans and specifications with the right quality and within the schedule. In other words, PPM would oversee the general contractor and report back to ZG Management and Zen, entities also controlled by Shaw. Setting aside that PPM's very existence demonstrates Shaw's tendency to micromanage, PPM, which is owned by Shaw and has no employees, further stressed the budget by ultimately receiving $350,000 from Zen or ZG Manager, both who have Shaw serving as managing member. Second, Shaw unnecessarily increased any cost overrun by hiring MNC mere months into the project and in the midst of C. MNC, Shaw claims, brought skill sets, superintendents, and a project manager to the project, which were supposedly lacking. It's very funny how he says supposedly lacking when we could not produce Uncle Mike. Where was Uncle Mike? And then Basement Billy, as y'all say, because I keep forgetting about that brother. I ain't even gonna lie to you. Where were they? Because you're saying supposedly, but where were they? Shaw additionally suggested MNC be put between PPM and Scholt. All right. It says, notably, Shaw discussed the project of MNC providing construction project management services at least as far back as 2018. So Shaw's professed rationale for the hire is likely untrue. Moreover, not only did Zen fail to give Scholt notice of Zen's intent to use MNC to supplement Scolt's forces, but Shaw cannot give proof as to whether Zen gave Scholt written notice it was in default when Shaw hired MNC. Now, maybe not when they hired MNC, but he definitely can provide proof he gave y'all notice of default 3 separate times. I truly think Marsau believes he can talk his way out of everything, right, Erica? Uncle Mike was deep in the heart of Texas. Any Texas people already know that song. MNC was on site from December 2020 until its completion in December 2021, and it charged Zen approximately $130 per hour. Zen's hiring of MNC constituted yet another unnecessary part of the already redundant supervisory structure at the project. Third, Shaw added additional unnecessary costs to the project when he hired the card group and specifically Choksi for the role of owner's representative. The foregoing are only a few examples of the numerous decisions made by Zen and or Shaw, both during the pre-construction process and throughout the project, which drove up the cost overrun, which in turn allowed for the defective workmanship complained of in Zen's counterclaims and comprises the damages for which Zen now unjustly blames Scholt. Although Zen alleges various ways in which Scholt supposedly breached the contract, these grounds are clearly attributable to Zen's and Shaw's own decisions. For these reasons, Zen's counterclaims, plainly premised on breach of contract, fail. Indeed, applying the rationales used by Clark and Beam courts, and especially the rationale observed by the Tittle court, Zen clearly exercised such an extensive amount of control over the project so as to transform the owner-contractor relationship between Scholt and Zen to that of a master-servant relationship. As a result, Zen, not Scholt, is clearly responsible for the damages claimed in Zen's counterclaims. Their conclusion is, for all the reasons stated above, Scholt is entitled to summary judgment on all of Zen's counterclaims against Scholt. Okay, so I have two things to make sure I don't forget both. One, we're going to go over my part of the contract that I read, their contract I read, that I feel like negates the clauses they leaned really hard on. And I also want to talk about the financial possibility of the outcome of the ruling. So let me make myself a note so I don't forget that. Okay. Because I don't want to forget. All right. So first, let's go look at this clause that I feel like when Bottom Rousseau was asked in his deposition, did you have legal representation review your contract? He shouldn't have skipped on that part. Because okay, y'all, if y'all weren't in part 2, he misunderstood his type of contract. He had a maximum contract. That meant that he would not get, you know what? It was 10 to 11 million. You're right. Whoever asked that, you're right, because I remember now. But the maximum of the contract was like 10,300,000 or whatever, right? And Marsau, for some reason, kept seeming to interpret that as the minimum, like he was guaranteed at least that minimum. But no, he signed a contract saying he couldn't go over that expense. So that's one thing. But let's look at the clause I saved for y'all. All right, where are we at? What page is it? Thank you for the super chat, The Real VB. They trying to use that micromanaged email to right, that alone will not make y'all win the case. Can you say it a little bit louder? Like, why are they leaning on that? Girl, Shirley, right, the nerve. Let me find my clause. I guess I didn't write it down. But here's Marsau, his signature. He signed it. He said he read it and understood it. Let me find my page, y'all. Oh, man. Where are we at? Woo, here we go. You see all that red and yellow? That's the part that's trending red. So if they don't possibly win on the fraud part, this is where I think Zen Garden has their behinds. It says 14.2, termination by the owner for cause. It says the owner may terminate the contract if the contractor, 1, repeatedly refuses or fails to supply enough properly skilled workers or proper materials. That it doesn't have to fulfill all 4 that we're about to go over. So number 1, contract's out, contract's gone, which means to me that clause that they keep leaning on doesn't matter anymore. Number 2, the contractor fails to make payment to subcontractors or suppliers in accordance with the respective agreements. Did the subcontractors not put liens on Zen Gardens because they weren't getting paid by Scholt? 3, repeatedly disregards applicable laws, statutes, ordinances, codes, rules, and regulations or lawful orders of a public authority. 4, otherwise is guilty of substantial breach of a provision of the contract documents. It says when any of the reasons described in section 14.2.1 exist, the owner may, without prejudice to any other rights or remedies of the owner, and after giving the contractor and the contractor surety, if any, 7 days notice, terminate employment of the contractor and may subject to any prior rights of the surety. Number 1, exclude the contractor from the site and take possession of all materials, equipment, tools, and construction equipment and machinery thereon owned by the contractor. 2, accept assignment of subcontracts pursuant to section 5.4. And 3, finish the work by whatever reasonable method the owner may deem expedient. Upon written request of the contractor, the owner shall furnish to the contractor a detailed accounting of the costs incurred by the owner in finishing the work. When the owner terminates the contract for one of the reasons stated in section 14.2.1, the contractor shall not be entitled to receive further payment until the work is finished. That I feel like Marsau should have read. And the financial part, let's just discuss some outcomes of the ruling real fast, okay? Put a fork in it, right, Shirley? I feel like, let's say that Marsau somehow is able to produce that final invoice with legitimate documents or whatever. Let's say that he does get paid his outstanding $300-something thousand, $400-something thousand. You still have a counterclaim of $5.5 million. So let's say they're like, you know what, Scholt? Okay, it was excessive for Vishal to be paid this amount. Well, you still owe the $4 million minus the amount they owe you. So you still coming out of pocket $2-3 million. So that is my interpretation of the stuff I read. Y'all, we made it through. Those are all the documents for today. Oh my gosh. Thank y'all so much for coming. I will see y'all next Thursday if you want to keep following the Scholt Zen documents and everything. I really appreciate y'all being here. Really, really, I do. I hope my attorney friend came in to see this because I feel like she'd be proud. I really do. Thank you. Please like the video on your way out. I appreciate it. And don't forget, Thursday, we go over the witness list. Set your notifications. Yep, he's the reason that he will lose his case and his ego. Unwarranted ego. Yep. Thank you, Lil Paulette and the gang. Thank you. Kevin Moore said, very good chat. Yes. Thank you, Irene. It was probably that 17 mil. He thought he is right, Kat. Thank you, Real VB. Please like on your way out. I have tried to put the link a few times so y'all can set your reminders. Thank you, Annette. Hit that like button, y'all. Thank you, Black Titanic, for being in here. Hey, Juan Davis, thank you. Why are we here? That section puts the nail in the... Because their attorney was smart. He didn't say that in his deposition. He's saving it for trial because they so silly to actually still have done this. It's too late now, just Mia. Thank you, Queen 3K. Yes, Essie, no problem. Thank y'all. Did you check cat? Oh, hold on. I did not. I thought I had my notifications on. 1 second. Oh, hold on. Let me get it up. Oh, y'all. Thank you, Queens Jaja, for the Cash App. And thank you, Carolyn Brown. I appreciate you. Thank you. Oh, watch. I'm trying to, hopefully I ain't say nobody's name. Hold on. Thank you to Latrice. Oh, thank you. Hold on, okay. Did I say all of them? Did I miss anything? Trending. Yes, my chit chat sound trending. You're very welcome. Don't forget Tisha's $1 million loan. We'll see where that goes. Was that the PPP loan or something else? Thank you, Sylvia. I thought court is October 23rd. If you see something in writing, let me know, Miss Cheryl. That's all I'm saying. I haven't seen it. Thank you, Native One. Marsau lied to Tisha, telling her the deposition went really well. Yes. So true. Thank you, Taisha. Oh, yeah. Let's go ahead and for y'all that sent me, you joined the membership. For those of y'all that sent me cash outs and sent me super chats and super stickers, here you go.
All right. We going. What a money reside.
We going. Yes. Oh, goodness. By Marsau Scott, right. Thank you, Diane. Y'all hit that like button on the way out. Thank you. What Blue Devil Babe, thank you so much. Thank you, Terry. Latisha better run. He's going down and or jail. No one in this world can help this man. Right. It's a mess, Gemini goddess. Yes, it is. Y'all, we made it in time. For anybody that's a Chit Chat's member, we got time for her live. Oh, I'm so happy. I didn't know how long that one would take going through the exhibits, too. He's going to get enough of being haughty in spirit. Thank you, Just Mia. Yes, he will. We going. Right, Pumpkin? Hold on. I got something for, I got a few things for Marsau, for Bottom Row Soul.
A clown? He's a clown? Why didn't I see it before?
Sorrows, prayers. Sorrows, prayers.
Sorrows, prayers, Bottom Row Soul. I don't know what to tell you. All right, see you Thursday, Joe. Okay, y'all, I'm going to play the music on our way out. I appreciate everybody for being here and sticking through this with me. Right, you better go back to that movie theater. Y'all like those? Yes, we be having fun over here. He's a clown. You're welcome, Victoria. Thank you. Thank you so much for the compliment. Thank you, Rox. Oh, I appreciate y'all. Thank you, 1408. Wow. Okay, y'all, play the music. I really appreciate y'all. I'm gonna free your night up. Go do some things. I appreciate you. Talk to y'all soon. All right, see y'all later. Bye.
I've been taking my time. Taking all of your time, I've been taking my time. Taking all of your time, Can't we talk about it for a while? Before we take a chance and do it, before we looking back as foolish. Can we talk about it for a while? Before we take a chance and do it, before we looking back as foolish. We got me floating, I can take it. You got me floating, and I can't take it. You got me floating, and I can take it. You got me floating, and I can't take it. I've been taking my time. Taking all of your time, I've been taking my time. Taking all of your time.